Hey everyone, this is Travis. Gonna do a quick tutorial here on the hitbox tool in case we um, need to show someone else or a designer forgets or something like that. So right now I'm gonna launch Maya up through the shell. This is something Conrad's been working on. If we go to Tools, Environment, and SY Shell, pull up this little command line for us, and if we type in Maya, it'll launch our scrapyard version of Maya. It's just a new way of doing it. And so here we have our Maya. Make sure it's our Maya because we have our scrapyard shells and our scrapyard menu. If we go ahead and try to open up a hitbox tool, it'll tell us we need to open up an animation scene. So let's go find an animation scene. Right now, let's go in here, go into animations, and we'll do ground melee forward. So we have the scene opened up here. Make sure it's the right animation we want. I'm just kind of picking one at random, so let's open this up again, and just on a first time thing, hopefully this will get fixed after the break. Just close both. If it opens up two windows still, just close both, and then if you open it, click on the button again, it should only open one. Now we only have one window open. Since this is a attack animation, we're going to do is attack, and here we're going to use the rest of these menus to fill in the name for us. This way we keep our naming conventions. You can toggle off is melee for our special attacks, or is ground, and then you can choose your direction right here as well. But ground melee forward, the default is what we chose. Let's load in the animation data here. And you'll see the hitboxes have, in this animation, have already been done. So looks pretty good. Again, a good common practice when you start this animation is to set this range up here, so you set your start and end frames. Let's go to the beginning here and say, let's go to the first frame where there's an attack frame, and say I'm a designer, and I want to move this box over, make it a little bit bigger. I suggest working in orthographic view since our collisions are done on a 2D basis. Doing that again is going over the quad view over here, or you can just go up here and click orthographic and pick which side. So let's go in here, say I want this hitbox to be moved over a little bit. I can just select it and move it over. To make sure, say I also want to move this hitbox, but I'm not quite sure which hitbox it is, or I know maybe I want to move hitbox 0. There's a bunch of different ways you can toggle selection on and off for individual boxes. Select only this. Go down here, select only this box. And this is a pretty quick and easy way to go around and find out which boxes you're actually affecting. For attack boxes, you'll notice there's also this extra button called Effect. This is for the kind of two-punch scenario. So you'll see this one right now has Effect 0. And I'll keep going. You saw these attack boxes right here also have Effect 0. If I keep going to the second punch, you'll see that these now have Effect 1. These will be the two different furball-based attack effects that happen onto the other character. So maybe this, for this attack, this Effect 1 versus Effect 0, Effect 1 will knock the other player a lot farther back, versus Effect 0, which will just pop them up a little bit. That way both hits will usually land. So another thing to note, if you're working on a pre-made scene, say I want to delete a box, you make sure you want to delete them inside of the tool itself. Don't click in the scene and then click delete. That'll be bad, as like the tool will not be able to figure out which boxes exist or not. So if I wanted to go in here and delete this box, I'd go here, click delete box. You'll see it deletes it in the scene for you. Going through that, you can see a little bit more. If I wanted to then save out this data, I would then do save animation, and it will, I'll just go ahead and do that right now. And I'll save it out, and yeah, that's about as much as it'll do. it'll update the manifest for you. So if you go into the tools, then you'll be able to see this back in game when you launch the new game. I'm gonna go and start another instance of Maya, and I'll show you kind of what it's like to use the tool on a new animation, or maybe I just want to restart a whole new scene, or a whole new animation instead of using an old one that exists, or maybe a new one got changed or something like that. So I'm going to check out the jump up animation. So you'll see in this one no longer has an attack. There's also another major thing to note is that it's now translating. So if we turn on the skeleton here, you'll see the root translating along with it. Just a little bit. You still lay out hitboxes exactly as you would normally on the characters, just there's another checkbox that you're going to have to look at in the tool itself. So again, another reminder, if you have two start up the first time, click exit both of them and then restart it again, and you should only have one. If you still have two, then I've never seen that before, so please tell me how you did it. By our naming conventions, this movement animation should be called jump up. And let's say we know this is starting at frame 0 and going to frame 16. And there we go. Now at this point, we're ready to start making our hitboxes. Remember, so to make a new hitbox, I click on new hitbox. I'll go through here. I will size this accordingly. One thing to note is you do not want to move the pivot in Maya itself for people who are more comfortable with Maya. Don't start moving the pivot around to here or something like that. That'll screw up the tool and how it figures out where the bounds are for the boxes. So if I just go through here, I'll just do a quick one. Kind of size it up a little bit, maybe move it over. So if we go in here, I'll just go through and do one more. That's kind of weird. I'll just bring it down to 2 to make it faster for the tutorial. Go through here, and so on the next frame, you'll notice that it pre-makes these boxes. It'll take the boxes from the last frame over for you if it's their first time visiting this frame. So if I continue, you'll see the boxes kind of will move a little bit as well. I'll scale this one a little bit to show you that it is different from the previous frames. Go through here, and you'll see kind of does this. So the general workflow is to kind of go frame by frame. I wouldn't suggest clicking all the way through. You're more than welcome to, but this feature is made to try and speed up this process. That way you aren't continually making more boxes every frame. So as you can see, just kind of go through here. For the point of this tutorial, I'm going to kind of skip a couple frames, slide this one up, and yeah, that looks good. So, and I'm just going to change this to 1, just in order to keep in line with the rest of our animations. You see, if I use the time slider, the boxes will not update with me. So one way to do that is to refresh no matter where you move on the time slider. If you click one of these go to next frame arrows or past frame arrows, it will automatically set you back there. Also, it won't let you go past if you've set up these range of animations. So, with these going on, since the character is translating in this scene, it will look a bit goofy in-game, so we need to make sure to check this root offset data here. Usually, it's just if the character is translating far from the origin. If you get confused about this, it should be only for a few animations, but it is necessary, so if you get confused, feel free to call me or whatever. So this one looks pretty good. We don't have any attack boxes as this is just a jump. Let's go ahead and save this out right now. Okay, so we see that. Go ahead and save that. And then all you have to, it'll work on saving that. And then if you pull open your Perforce here, It will then change these hitboxes over here and change any of these hitbox JSONs for you. One thing to note, I'm running in debug right now, so I'm not messing up any of the data we already have, even when I click save. One thing to note is this manifest JSON here. This is what the game actually reads in. If for some reason you have your hitboxes, you know you updated your hitboxes but you're not seeing the results in game, one thing to try to fix it before calling on anybody else is you can double click this update to manifest. You'll see that box come up and you should see this date modified change on manifest.json. If this doesn't change, your computer might not have Python installed on it. You need to fix that in order, well, I guess, yeah, the tool would still work because it's running off my, but it would screw up any of the other tools. So be sure to have Python installed, and then you'll be able to update this manifest. And then if you don't see your hitboxes updated in game, then you should be calling one of us, or an engineer, or me, or Conrad, or one of the other engineers who's knowledgeable about hitboxes. Other than that, you just want to make sure to load or commit whichever one of these JSON files you edited, and then it should be pushed to game. Other than that, if anybody has any questions, just let me know. Again, things to remember, especially about attacks, is the tool takes care of naming attacks for you. So especially if it's an attack, use is_attack, and this is for any elementals, traps, any specials, any melees, anything like that. The one exception would be kill attacks. Kill attacks you still put in. You would do it as kill attack attempts or whatever the animation's called. Yeah, other than that, let me know if you guys have any questions. Should just be pretty straightforward. Alright, see you later.